It's the worst tech recall I've ever seen, first of all, and probably in recent memory. I don't think there's anything at this scale. So it's not simply that there's something wrong and faulty, we can adjust it or fix it or we'll send you a new one. It's just the whole thing is scrapped. There's no way that they can make a go of it. So that's the problem.
And it seems that in terms of the total earnings of Samsung, the Note makes up about 8%.
Right.
Share price falls have been sharp. Is that just because of the brand image is impossible for them to recover?
Well, I think the brand image is tarnished, certainly, but also sort of visibility, right? It's like if they're relying on this product to sort of boost sales for things, and now, of course, they're estimating lower sales, lower profits because of it. It's just not a good outlook. At the same time, it's a massive company. They have lots of resources. They're great human capital. They're going to bounce back. It's just what shape that takes, right? And so far, I think that they've done a pretty good job of sort of reacting relatively quickly in terms of, okay, look, we're just going to get these off the shelves now. I think we don't know exactly what happened. There should be more transparency as what exactly caused this. Was it a manufacturing issue, a design issue?
That's really the problem. I mean, they've got batteries, right, that they buy supposedly from SDI, Samsung SDI, which they own a stake in. They've also got for the replacement Samsung phones batteries from a Chinese company, and they cannot figure out, because some of the batteries are a little bit too big and that may cause some of the overheating. But a company of engineers should be able to figure out what went wrong with these phones, in theory. And so then doesn't that throw doubt across product lines?
You'd be surprised that, like, just in technology in general, the level of complexity, even engineers, even software programmers, they don't know. When you program code, for example, you think you're doing everything right. After it's all done, there's a million bugs in there, right? So even as you design something, you don't really know what the faults are.
You know, that happens all the time.
With you when you code?
Yes. This is perfect. And then I go back and
And Samsung in particular, their market strategy has been, we want to get our thing out ahead of Apple. So it's been successful for them in the past in terms of rushing out the next model before Apple gets out its next model. This time it's bit them.
How much of an added issue is it for Samsung that they rely on Android, somebody else's software? It's not like a unique ecosystem like Apple. If people now quickly try a new phone, are they then lost forever?
Well, so I think it's a good question, because I think the potential beneficiary of this is Google, because they have a new phone out, the Google Pixel, which uses Android, of course, because they're the ones who created the Android OS. So if you are an Android user, if you're used to be a Samsung user, and all of a sudden there's this alternative out there that could be better or just as good, it's fortuitous for Google, certainly, and I think in that way it definitely hurts Samsung.
Do you think that analysts and just investors out there in general are overestimating the positive impact on Apple? I mean, you take a look at Apple's shares. Yesterday it was a year-to-date high in Apple for at least the second day in a row, and we got Brian White over at Drexel saying that this is going to be incrementally. I think he said something like 8 million.
Yeah, I think it's a bit frothy.
Units.
I don't think Apple is going to be quite as much of a beneficiary as people suspect it might over Samsung, because it's interesting is that in the marketplace, you have Samsung people, you have Apple people. Samsung has loyalty too. It's not as simple as, it's one phone versus, the price or design. It's, I like Samsung phones or I like Android phones. And so some people are still loyal to that idea, and they'll just downgrade to a different Samsung or a different Android phone, not necessarily an Apple phone.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here, and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.